Hey everyone, welcome back to the Turing Test podcast. I'm your host Kurt, and today we have a really interesting topic to dive into. Will AI take our jobs? Joining me today is Rachel, who has some strong opinions on this subject. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kurt. Glad to be here.
So Rachel, let's get right into it. There's a lot of fear-mongering around AI and automation. People are worried that robots and AI systems are going to take over their jobs. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Kurt, I think there's some validity to those fears. We've already seen automation replace jobs in manufacturing and other industries. But I also think there's a lot of hype and exaggeration. Not every job is at risk, and many new opportunities are being created as well.
I'm not so sure about that. It seems like every week there's a new report about how AI is going to disrupt another industry. Just look at self-driving cars. What happens to all the truck drivers and taxi drivers?
But Kurt, you have to consider the bigger picture. Yes, some jobs will be lost, but new ones will also be created. For example, someone has to design, build, and maintain these AI systems, and there will be new roles that we can't even predict yet.
Yeah, but that's a bit of a cop-out, isn't it? It's easy to say new jobs will be created without specifying what those jobs will be or how people will transition into them.
It's not a cop-out, Kurt. It's reality. Look at history. Every major technological advancement has led to job displacement, but it has also created new industries and opportunities. The internet, for example, wiped out some jobs but created countless others.
Oh, so you're saying we should just trust technology to sort everything out?
No. I'm saying we need to be proactive. Governments, companies, and individuals need to invest in education and training to prepare for these changes. It's not about sitting back and hoping for the best.
But Rachel, not everyone has the resources to just invest in education. What about the people who are barely making ends meet? Are they supposed to just magically find the time and money to retrain?
That's why we need systemic changes, Kurt. We need policies that support workers during these transitions. Universal basic income, subsidized education programs, things like that.
Universal basic income, the magic solution to everything, right?
It's not a magic solution, but it's a start. We can't just sit around and do nothing while people lose their livelihoods.
Okay, fine. Let's talk about specific industries then. What about healthcare? Do you think AI will take over doctors' and nurses' jobs?
I think AI will assist, not replace, healthcare professionals. AI can analyze data and provide insights that humans might miss, but it can't replace the human touch that's essential in healthcare. Doctors and nurses will still be needed to provide care and make complex decisions.
That's a fair point. But what about other sectors like finance or customer service?
In finance, AI can handle tasks like data analysis and fraud detection, but financial advisors and customer service reps will still be needed for personalized advice and support. AI is a tool, not a replacement.
I'm not entirely convinced. What about all those chatbots taking over customer service roles?
Chatbots can handle basic queries, but when it comes to complex issues or emotional support, people still prefer talking to a human. There's a limit to what AI can do in customer service.
But Rachel, companies are always looking to cut costs. If they can replace humans with AI, they will. It's all about the bottom line.
Yes, but there's also a cost to losing customer trust and satisfaction. Companies that rely too heavily on AI and neglect the human element will suffer in the long run.
All right, let's switch gears a bit. What about creative fields like writing, art, and music? Can AI really replace human creativity?
Passionately, absolutely not. AI can assist and augment creativity, but it can't replicate the human experience and emotions that drive true creativity. AI-generated art and music can be impressive, but it lacks the depth and meaning that comes from human expression.
But what about those AI-generated paintings that sell for thousands of dollars? Or AI-composed music that's being used in commercials?
Those are novelties, Kurt. They're interesting and can be valuable in their own right, but they don't replace the human touch. People still crave authentic human experiences and connections.
Okay, I see your point, but let's talk about education. Do you think AI will replace teachers?
AI can be a valuable tool in education, providing personalized learning experiences and helping with administrative tasks. But teachers play a crucial role in mentoring, inspiring, and supporting students. AI can't replace that human connection.
Yeah, I can see that. But what about the argument that AI can provide more efficient and personalized education than human teachers?
Efficiency and personalization are important, but they're not everything. Education is about more than just transferring knowledge. It's about developing critical thinking, social skills, and emotional intelligence. AI can't replace the holistic approach that good teachers provide.
All right, Rachel, you've made some good points, but I still think there's a lot of uncertainty and risk when it comes to AI and jobs.
I agree, Kurt. There are risks, and we need to be mindful of them. But we also need to be proactive and adaptive. AI is here to stay, and we need to find ways to integrate it into our lives and work in a way that benefits everyone.
Fair enough. Any final thoughts?
Just that we need to approach AI with a balanced perspective. It's neither a savior nor a destroyer. It's a tool, and it's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly.
Agreed. Before we continue, just a quick shout out to Augmented AI, the producer of the Turing Test podcast. Augmented AI hosts a variety of cutting-edge courses in generative AI, large language models, edge AI, robotics, and computer vision. You can get a free generative AI course at //bit/Turing Test podcast. Okay, back to the debate. So Rachel, let's dive deeper into the economic implications of AI taking over jobs. What do you think will happen to the wage gap?
That's a tough one, Kurt. There's a possibility that the wage gap could widen if we don't take appropriate measures. High-skilled jobs that require advanced education and training might see wage increases, while low-skilled jobs could be automated away, leaving those workers with fewer opportunities.
Right, and that could lead to more economic inequality. Do you think there's a way to prevent that?
Yes, absolutely. We need to focus on upskilling and reskilling the workforce. Governments and corporations should invest in training programs that help workers transition to new roles that AI can't easily replace. We also need to consider policies like progressive taxation and social safety nets to support those who are most affected.
But Rachel, isn't that easier said than done? Implementing these policies requires political will and cooperation, which we all know can be hard to come by.
True, but it's not impossible. There are already some countries and companies making strides in this area. It's about setting priorities and recognizing the long-term benefits of a more equitable society.
Okay, but let's talk about the role of corporations. Do you think they have a responsibility to their employees when it comes to AI and automation?
Absolutely. Corporations benefit from the efficiencies and cost savings that AI brings, so they should also bear some responsibility for the societal impacts. This includes providing training and development opportunities for their employees, as well as considering the ethical implications of their AI use.
So you're saying corporations should just be altruistic and put people over profits?
I'm saying that corporations should recognize that their long-term success is tied to the well-being of their employees and society as a whole. It's not just about altruism, it's about sustainability and social responsibility.
All right, let's shift gears again. What about the psychological impact of job displacement due to AI? How do you think people will cope with the changes?
That's a significant concern, Kurt. Losing a job can be a traumatic experience, leading to stress, anxiety, and a loss of identity. It's crucial that we provide not just financial support, but also mental health resources and counseling to help people navigate these transitions.
Yeah, I can see that. It's not just about the money, it's about the sense of purpose and community that work provides.
Exactly. Work is a big part of our lives and our identities. We need to ensure that as we move towards a more automated future, we don't lose sight of the human element.
That's a good point, Rachel. It's easy to get caught up in the technology and forget about the people.
Yes, and that's why it's so important to have these conversations. We need to think critically about how we integrate AI into our society in a way that benefits everyone.
Rachel, I want to talk about the role of education in preparing the next generation for an AI-driven world. What changes do you think need to be made in our education system?
Hmm. Education is key, Kurt. We need to focus on teaching skills that can't be easily automated, like critical thinking, creativity, and emotional intelligence. Our current education system is often too focused on rote learning and standardized testing, which doesn't prepare students for the challenges of the future.
Yeah, I've heard that argument before, but how do we make those changes? The education system is notoriously slow to adapt.
It's going to require a concerted effort from all stakeholders: governments, educators, parents, and students. We need to invest in teacher training, update curriculums, and provide resources for innovative teaching methods. It's a big challenge, but it's essential for our future.
But Rachel, isn't there a risk that we'll leave some students behind? Not everyone has access to the same resources and opportunities.
That's a valid concern, Kurt. Equity in education is crucial. We need to ensure that all students, regardless of their background, have access to high-quality education and opportunities to develop the skills they need. This might mean targeted funding and support for underserved communities.
Yeah, that makes sense. But what about higher education? Do you think colleges and universities are doing enough to prepare students for an AI-driven job market?
Some are, but many are not. Higher education institutions need to be more agile and responsive to the changing job market. This means offering courses and programs in emerging fields like AI, data science, and cybersecurity, as well as fostering interdisciplinary learning and collaboration.
But isn't there a risk that we're just creating a new elite class of highly educated workers while others get left behind?
That's why it's important to provide multiple pathways to success. Not everyone needs a 4-year degree to thrive in an AI-driven world. Vocational training, apprenticeships, and lifelong learning opportunities can also play a crucial role in preparing workers for the future.
Yeah, I can see that. It's about creating a diverse and inclusive workforce that can adapt to the changes.
Exactly. We need to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their background or education level.
Rachel, I want to discuss the ethical implications of AI taking over jobs. What are some of the key ethical concerns we need to address?
There are several, Kurt. First and foremost is the issue of bias in AI systems. If AI is used in hiring, for example, it can perpetuate existing biases and discrimination if not properly managed. We also need to consider the transparency and accountability of AI systems. Who is responsible if an AI system makes a mistake or causes harm?
Yeah, those are big concerns. But how do we address them? It seems like the technology is moving faster than our ability to regulate it.
We need to develop robust ethical guidelines and regulations for AI. This includes ensuring that AI systems are transparent, fair, and accountable. It also means involving diverse stakeholders in the development and oversight of AI technologies to ensure that they reflect a broad range of perspectives and values.
But Rachel, isn't there a risk that too much regulation will stifle innovation?
It's a delicate balance, Kurt. We need to protect against the potential harms of AI while also fostering innovation. This means developing smart, adaptive regulations that can evolve with the technology, rather than rigid rules that stifle progress.
Yeah, that makes sense. But what about the global perspective? AI is being developed and deployed all over the world. How do we ensure that ethical standards are upheld globally?
International cooperation is key. We need to work with other countries to develop global standards and frameworks for AI ethics. This includes sharing best practices, collaborating on research, and ensuring that AI benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
That's a big challenge, but it's important. We can't afford to ignore the ethical implications of AI.
Exactly. AI has the potential to transform our world for the better, but we need to be mindful of the risks and take proactive steps to address them.
Final thoughts. Rachel, before we sign off, do you have any last words of advice for our listeners who might be worried about AI taking their jobs?
I'd say, don't panic, but be proactive. Stay informed about the changes happening in your industry and look for opportunities to learn new skills. Embrace lifelong learning and be open to new possibilities. And remember, AI is a tool that we can shape and use to our advantage. It's up to us to ensure that it benefits everyone.
Great advice, Rachel. Thanks again for joining me today.
Thanks, Kurt. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Remember to stay curious and keep questioning. See you next time on the Turing Test podcast. And lastly, don't forget to check out Augmented AI University to upgrade your skills and become an AI expert fast. Go to https://bit.ly/Turing Test podcast to enroll in your free cutting-edge AI course.